taste a meal from one of your dead tonight.
A New York City chef with a haunting talent, he can taste the favorite foods of ghosts and reunite them with loved ones for a last meal.
When I prepare it, and when one of you eats it, it will bring that spirit back here to dine.
He offers closure, but it comes with a price.
A memory that costs you something, he said aloud, almost to himself. One that hurts to remember.
Author Daria Lavelle explores emotional hunger.
The way we eat is the way we live our lives in a lot of ways. It's love, it's hunger, it's passion.
Love and longing, holding on and letting go. It's time to savor Aftertaste, Club Calvi's Reader's Choice.
Right now, CBS New York's Book Club with Mary Calvi.
Hello and welcome to our July meetup. We focus on fiction connected to the tri-state area. Today we are talking about a book that had us captivated for the last month, a haunting tale called Aftertaste. We got together recently with some of our readers to hear what they had to say about it. From the story to the characters, Aftertaste is not like anything they've read before. We're going to talk to author Daria Lavelle and book club producer Danielle Parker. We'll show questions and comments from our readers. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Mary. You know, Aftertaste was one of those books where you think you know what the story is from the first few pages, and then it takes you on this ride that is stunning, shocking, funny, and emotional. And our readers say it's a book they won't forget.
I'll admit that I did a lot of crying throughout this novel, but especially in the last 60 pages.
He had very, very sad childhood. I mean, losing his father.
I had a lot of things with people that passed, that food was involved. I like that she did that.
But then as it grew, there were interesting stories.
The multitude of voices were magnificent.
And then once it got going, then it's like, okay, now I'm hooked. Who's this person? What's the food?
Where I started off emotionally with this book isn't where I ended.
Yeah, and that's the truest same for the characters. They went through so much change, so much so that when I finished it, Mary, I said out loud to myself, wow, this is about love and loss, grief and healing, and readers and I can't wait to hear your conversation with Daria about all of this.
We have so much to talk about for certain. Addictive and delicious. Aftertaste has been described as a ghost story, a love story, and a mind-bending adventure. I had the pleasure to speak with the author about the inspiration for the story. And Danielle, as you know, we searched for the most fitting location to hear more about this unique story. And we believe we found it in the West Village. It seems like we're in the perfect place for your novel.
It's beautiful here, and I love that it's just maximalist, just like this book.
Because there are so many different layers to your book, too.
So many layers, and it's whimsical, just like the book. It's got this element that you're in another world, just like the book, and the food is delicious.
We had the chance to explore food and drink at Sveta, a true culinary experience in the West Village.
Cheers.
Cheers to all of your success.
Thank you so much.
The Ukrainian restaurant blends a taste of European fusion with authentic dishes full of soul and flavor. In her gripping debut novel, Aftertaste, author Daria Lavelle blends a food story with a love story and wraps it in an emotional adventure about overcoming grief.
Someone was guiding him. He'd always been able to pinpoint the ingredients, but now someone was illuminating the pale memories of the aftertaste for him.
Born in Ukraine and living in New Jersey, Lavelle uses much of her background as inspiration for the story, which was voted in as Club Calvi's Reader's Choice.
Like a burner catching fire, things began happening inside Constantine's mouth. Flickers of flavor, not aftertastes exactly, more morsels than meals. A whole lot of them.
I had this image come into my mind kind of fully formed. So when I write, I tend to work in images. I tend to have these like big ideas that play almost like a movie scene. And so it was this man in this Hell's Kitchen apartment, and he's plating this dish of food, and he sets it on the table, and this beautiful glittering ghost passes through the wall to try and eat it. And I was immediately obsessed. I had to know what the story was, what was happening between them. Was it his food? Was it the ghost? Was it their relationship? And in the process of answering those questions and unpacking them, I wrote Aftertaste.
People have heard of clairvoyance and other things in regard to connecting with the afterworld, but I'm not sure if people really think of taste. So Where did that idea come from, and had you known that beforehand?
The psychic connection to taste is called clairgustance. I did not know that was a thing before this little vision came into my mind. But when I discovered it, I said, that's it. That's what this guy has. And it's funny, in my head, immediately, it just made a perfect logical sense. I think that food is this incredibly connective thing. The way we eat is the way we live our lives in a lot of ways. It's love, it's hunger, it's passion, it's all of those things. It's where we come from, it's who we are.
Daria Lavelle, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a thrill to be here.
Yeah, it was so exciting to have you as our reader's choice.
I'm so honored that this book got chosen. Honestly, it's been such a dream.
Is this a dream come true? This first novel, so much good has come out of this. I mean, what was the feeling like when you learned you were going to be a published author?
It was something that I've been literally dreaming about since I was a teenager. I wanted to be an author since I basically started writing stories. And to see it happen in this way has just been absolutely extraordinary. It's every dream and hope I ever had for a book.
Oh, how tremendous for you. Did you ever think as you were writing this that you would have such great success with Aftertaste?
I hoped I would. It was the kind of story where when I shared it with people, they had a big reaction to it right from the very beginning, and so I felt like I had something special. I hope that I did.
Oh, you certainly did. I mean, this really unique take on a connection to the afterworld. I had never heard of this. Clairgustance. Where did it take you as you had that incredible vision? Where did you go from there? I was so curious to hear more about that.
So when I had that little kind of vision of that chef in the Hell's Kitchen apartment making that food, I didn't know what the gift was. I didn't know what it was called, and so I put the story aside for a little bit. And then I was going down a Wikipedia rabbit hole for a completely different project, completely different. And I wound up on this page that had just one single page, and it talked about the 5 senses and how each sense has an associated psychic clair. So you've probably heard of clairvoyance, being able to see from the other side. So every one of the 5 senses, so taste, smell, touch, sight, has an associated sense. And as soon as I read clairgustance, the ability to taste, I was like, that's it. That's what that guy in the vision had.
Finally, some answers for you. After reading Aftertaste, I thought, if there's a 5-star chef waiting for us on the other side, I'm just fine with it.
I'm not mad about it.
I was wondering what readers thought. You've had the chance to be on this incredible book tour, and have you heard from people who were really drawn to this, maybe who had the gift themselves?
I have heard from so many readers, it's been one of the most extraordinary experiences of publishing this book. I've heard readers share their own experiences with loss and with grief with me. I've heard them tell me about their own aftertastes of foods that bring back the memory of somebody they loved. And then, yes, I did actually have some people reach out on Instagram who shared that they do experience clairgustance. They can taste from the other side, which I think is so extraordinary.
I have so many questions about that, but I wanted to get to Danielle. Our readers have so many questions as well, so let's get over to them and then we'll talk more about that.
That's right, because Mary and Daria, that's what our group was really curious about at the outset, that whole idea, that phenomenon of tasting something without eating, that clairgustance. You both talked a little bit about it when we met up at Sveta, the restaurant, and just now, but our readers want even more detail to hear about how Daria made that the focal point of the book. Here's Laura's question.
I had never heard of clairgustance before. And I'm always interested in kind of psychic stuff. And it was something, and I actually looked it up to see if it was something that was out there. And my question is, does she have any experience with this, or does she know somebody like who's gone through this?
It is such a good question that we have been talking about, like other people who have gone through this, clairgustance. I mean, how quite incredible and fascinating, truthfully.
Yeah, as soon as I started researching and I saw that Wikipedia article, I said, what is this? I have to know. So I began to research, and there was very little that I found about it. And what was interesting was what I did find was related to flavors from somebody who had passed. So for instance, the taste of their lipstick, or maybe one particular kind of gum that they like to chew, but it wasn't a whole meal. And as soon as I kind of had that seed, I said, let me expand upon it. Let me take this into my world now and make it about a chef and give him the ability to taste a meal down to all of its component parts.
And these weren't simple meals that you wrote about. I mean, we really got very complicated when it came to cultures, when it came to spices, when it came to the cooking methods. I mean, how much research went into creating these dishes?
There was a lot of research. There was a lot of research specifically into different cuisines, because in New York City, where the book takes place, you can eat basically any kind of food you can imagine. And so I did a lot of research into not only what are the staple ingredients of different cuisines that you can find here, but where do you find them? Where do you go to shop for them? I also just read a lot of cookbooks. Naturally, that's something that I love to do. I love to cook. So I read cookbooks cover to cover. I read a lot of memoirs by chefs. I am happy to say I did a lot of first-person research and went and tasted a lot of really good food in preparation for this book.
I really wanted to ask you about your central character in this. How did you come up with him? And, you know, we're taken with him from the first page. I mean, we're feeling for him because he's going through such loss, the loss of his dad. How did you decide that you wanted to make him your main character here?
I knew as soon as I had that first little inkling of this story that it was going to be a male main character and that it was going to be someone who turned into a chef. And then a lot of the way that I developed his backstory was actually really autobiographical to me. So like Constantine, I'm Ukrainian. My family emigrated when I was really young. And I had all of those formative experiences around food that he had. So I was the stinky lunchbox kid, and I kind of had food be this thing that was incredibly comforting and warm and home and family. And then it could be incredibly othering when you're at a cafeteria and everyone else is eating peanut butter and jelly and you're not. And so I wanted to give him that dichotomy of feeling, because as he grew up, he's also straddling two worlds. As he gets older, it's no longer Ukraine and the US, it's straddling the world of the living and the dead.
Incredible. It really took us to so many places. We're going to take a quick break. We have so much more to talk about, and we'll hear more from our Club Calvi members when we come back.
Anybody ever think of, if you would have a last meal with somebody you loved, what would that meal be?
I say grandma and Hungarian goulash.
My grandmother's meatballs. I mean, that's something I've been chasing that meatball my whole life.
My mom used to make beef stew, and I made it the other day.
From my Italian grandmother, and she made an amazing lasagna. So every time I see or eat lasagna, I think of her.
For me, it would be my mom's pot roast and her gravy, her homemade gravy. And she's been gone 2 years now. So that's just my memory.
Oh, I think of my grandmother. She made fresh bread, homemade bread every Sunday. And so we would have it throughout the week. And, you know, we would cut it and toast it, and she would put a little butter on it. It was just so incredible. What about for you, Daria? What do you think of?
That sounds so delicious. I'm thinking about that bread. I think if I were to have an aftertaste to bring me back, they're all tied to love. That's the core. And so the thing that would bring me back would be the chocolate cog dessert that they used to serve at the Jules Verne restaurant, which is on the Eiffel Tower in Paris, circa 2012. And that's because that's the dessert that my husband and I had before he took me out onto the balcony and proposed to me.
That is so romantic. You need to write a book just about that. I mean, what was the dessert? What did it taste like?
So it was a cog. It was shaped just like the cogs that hold together the Eiffel Tower. And it was this chocolate mousse with hazelnut, and it had this beautiful chocolate ganache on top, and it was very delicious. It's the taste of that and the smell of rain and being in love.
I am ready for that. You should go back and celebrate, because you've had such success with Aftertaste. Tell us a little bit about that, if you're willing to tell us the information.
Of course. So a couple of really incredible things have happened with this book. One is that it has been acquired around the world, so hopefully I will make it back to France, because it will be published in France. And the other thing is that Sony actually acquired it for movie rights. So hopefully one day soon we'll be able to see it on the big screen in a theater, which would be so thrilling.
You know, isn't that incredible? Because, well, just that it was acquired and that it'll become a movie, but kind of the image was in your mind when you first had this idea for it, right? It was almost like a movie playing out in your head.
It was incredibly cinematic, and I tend to write with big cinematic scenes. This book is full of love, it's full of hope, it's full of fun, it's full of adventure and excitement. and a lot of really poignant moments too. So I feel like seeing it on the silver screen would be really special.
We're excited and we can't wait. And Danielle has more questions from our readers. Danielle.
We do. We are so excited. And if you were just listening to the way Daria described that chocolate cog, you can understand how when you read this book, you will feel hungry, because Daria describes food in detail, not only its ingredients, but how it feels in the mouth, the texture, how the flavors unravel on your tongue. From sweet to salty to tangy, you can imagine tasting what was being described on the page. And these details were crucial to the story. So here's Lori's question.
The characters and the settings are very much related to the food. And what I'd like to know is if she thought of the foods first and built the plot around the foods, or if it was the opposite, she thought of the plot and the characters and built the foods around them. I would like to know how she meshed them together. It was amazing. The flow is great.
It's a really wonderful question. I was wondering the same thing.
It's such a good question. And the answer is a little bit of both. So for some foods where I'm just listing them, I did start with some foods that I had tasted, but for all of the foods that become an aftertaste, that become a connection between the living and the dead that Constantine prepares, those were all started with the emotions between the two characters. So I started by thinking about what is the connection between this person and somebody that they lost? What is the connection between the emotion that they have to kind of deal with? And how do I describe that in terms of flavor and in terms of food? And so I started to layer the flavors of food based on a scene that would come and convey those emotions. So is it salty? Is it spicy? Is it sweet? Is it savory? What is the feeling between these characters, and how does food accentuate that?
And the first one came in the form of a cocktail.
That's right.
I know there's this backstory about creating that cocktail and the place where you thought of it.
Yes, so I was going to see a show off Broadway with my husband, and we decided to stop in this bar for a drink, and it was a hotel bar. We ordered, and then I looked up, and the name of the bar was the Library of Distilled Spirits. And my writer brain dropped the word distilled and said, Library of Spirits, spirits, and alcohol, spirits, and ghosts. And I said, okay, enjoy your drink. I'm gonna go write something. And that became the Library of Spirits scene.
And the drink sounded delicious.
The drink is a spectral sour. That is the very first thing that Constantine prepares that brings back a ghost. And that drink is actually a perfect example, because all of the layers of flavor that the husband in the bar drinks remind him of different aspects of his relationship with his wife.
You know, your character is going through so much. You know, we're really drawn to him from the beginning, but throughout, you know, you're really feeling the pain that he must be going through of the loss of his father, but also he feels like he's alone, and the spirit world really opens up a whole new layer for him. Tell me about him, and how did you feel as you were developing the twists and the turns? What is it that really kept you motivated to continue telling his story?
Yeah, so Constantine is a character who, at the beginning of the book, he's so mired in the loss of his father. He's never been able to move on. It happened when he was 10, and now he's in his 30s, and he still is fixated on it in this way that makes him this sort of almost failure to launch character. He has all this potential, he has all this love to give, he has all of this talent, and he can't let go of his grief enough to pursue those things. And so throughout the course of the book, that's what really drove me, the same way that reuniting with his dad drives him. I wanted to give him an experience of living. I wanted to have him be in one of the most exciting cities in the world with the most exciting culinary scene. I wanted him to experience falling in love. I wanted him to have friendships. I wanted him to have success. And so I was driven to explore all of that. But then again, he's messing with something very dangerous, and so there are big consequences involved.
Oh, and those consequences, my goodness, what a surprise. Let's get back to Danielle. She has some more questions from our Club Calvi readers.
That's right, Mary. And what you guys just talked about is basically about this next question, because there are so many layers in this book, and how Daria weaved them together, from Kostya, who she just talked about, who carries the grief of losing his father throughout, to the details of working in a New York City restaurant scene, to the skills of a chef, to imagining the afterworld. And there's another link that weaves the story together. Here's Susan's question.
In each of the part one, part two, there's always a wonderful quote. And I wondered that too. Where did those quotes come from? And, did she have 20 quotes and then she just matched them to a chapter? She wrote the chapters and then she found the quote. How did that work out?
We're fascinated by your writing process, Daria.
I really, really, really enjoyed this question because I spent so much time carefully choosing the quotes for every part and making sure that even the chapter titles were really intentional. I wanted to lead the reader on an experience that primed them for what they were going to get in every part. And the book is actually structured like a tiered cake. So you've got the layers of Constantine's chapters, sort of like the cake, and the alternating chapters are like the filling inside, and every part has a different flavor, a different filling. So when I was choosing the quotes to open every part, I thought about what is the flavor of this particular part? What does it need to feel like? Is it going to be more poignant? Is it going to be more emotional? Is it going to be a surprise? Is it going to be something about love? And I tried to cater the quotes to that. And a lot of them came from books that I had read just in preparation for writing this book, just some of the research I was doing along the way. And when something really extraordinary jumped out at me, I took it down and those became these epigraphs.
I appreciated your quote to start part 4, which reads, "Being hungry is like being in love. If you don't know, you're probably not. Your body lets you know in no uncertain terms when it wants food." Mine hunger, on the other hand, is endless, bottomless, erratic. It was such a wonderful way to usher in a part of the book that really takes us to a different place. One that was quite unexpected, I believe, for many of the readers.
I hope so. That was the part where we begin to reveal Maura, the female main character's secrets, and we begin to learn more about what's been happening with her in her life, her experience and relationship to the other side and to the afterlife, and also her journey falling in love with Constantine and having that love reciprocated. So it is sort of this quote that encompasses the love that they have, but also the fact that she has this otherworldly hunger that she is dealing with.
She's hangry.
She is hangry.
I really enjoyed the relationship as well with him and his mom. And how about that reveal in the book where we learn that, oh, he's not the only one with the gift.
I knew that I wanted there to be a really poignant moment between Kostya and his mother at the end, because the way that we leave it in the beginning of the story is really, really sad for him. It really feels like a betrayal of trust and of their relationship. But I knew from the beginning that was never Vera's intention. That was never what she wanted for her son, that she, like any parent, wants the best and was doing the best with what she had. And so that moment was really special for me to write, where they reconcile and he understands that maybe, to his own surprise, she's the person in the world who can understand where he's coming from more than anybody.
Amazing. What a connection, really. So another question from our readers. Let's get you back to Danielle.
That's right. Mary and Daria, the last question has to do with the future of Aftertaste. It's something that you guys touched on, that Aftertaste is going to be made into a movie, and we can't wait for that to happen. But Alana has this question for Daria.
This really wonderful debut novel recently was acquired already by Sony Pictures. And so I'm really curious to see what scene would Daria be most excited to see translated to the screen.
Yes. Is there one that comes to mind?
There are two that come to mind.
Okay.
So the first one is the spectral sour scene that we talked about. That's the first time that a spirit reunites from the afterlife and comes back to our living world. And it is very much a set piece scene. She comes back, she's glittering, she's beautiful. It's not a spooky ghost, it is an
loved the way you
ghost.
described that, really captured that for us.
And I cannot wait to see that on screen, this sort of firework illuminated, beautiful spirit. And the second would probably be touring the food hall in the afterlife and the way that gets manifested as this culinary experience of delights.
Yeah, I mean, you create this afterworld for us throughout the book. I didn't realize that's where we were, actually, as I was reading along. It took me a few chapters in to say, oh my goodness, now I understand where we're going. I mean, we're understanding what he's going through on Earth, but oh my goodness, there's a lot in the spirit world that's going on. Who knew we would be so busy and so hungry, too? Tell me what's next for you. I'd love to hear if you're writing now.
I'm working on another novel. It is sadly not related to food. It is about a enchanted ship that comes to shore in San Francisco in 1899, and a woman who falls in love with one of the sailors, and they have to wait 100 years to be together.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. But when we hear the word enchanted, we might see a little bit more of the spirit world?
Maybe. There might be some spirit world. There might be some some secrets that are kept with what the ship is doing and not doing.
I am so excited for it. Do you have an idea? Are you in the middle of writing it now?
I'm in the middle of writing it now.
Okay, well, I know you're busy.
Early days.
We can't keep you here all day, but we would. It's been so fun talking to you and reading your works, and congratulations on all your success, really, with Aftertaste.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure and honor to be here.
Keep us posted, too. We want to know when the next one's coming
I
out.
will.
And we are going to be back to talk about our next book club read, but what a pleasure. Thank you again. Aftertaste by Daria Lavelle. It's out now. Danielle, Aftertaste was such a good book to start the summer.
Club Calvi is on fire with these reads, and we're going to get even hotter. With
You know it's sizzling. We're about to start The View from Lake Como by Adriana Trajani. It was voted by you as our next reader's choice. It's a New York Times bestseller, too. It's about a woman who's a dutiful daughter, just divorced and living with her parents in Lake Como, New Jersey, when her family suffers an unexpected loss. She moves to Italy, where she carves out a new life and possible love for herself.
How good does that sound? So we'd love for you to join our Facebook group and be a part of our book discussions. Our Facebook members get to ask the questions of the authors. So scan the QR code on your screen. You'll get sent directly to our page. And we also have info on clubcalvi.com.
We'll read The View from Lake Como through August and wrap it all up with another book club meetup with the author. I'm really excited about that. Until then, happy summer and happy reading.